Okay, I'm back. I got to make a few comments here about Democratic New Jersey Senator Cory Booker's theater over the past, the 25 plus hours that he spoke on the Senate floor. And I'm not saying theater in a derogatory way. I think it was great. I think it was absolutely amazing that he was able to do it, and the fact that he did do it, which finally removes a terrible stain on the U.S. Senate. And that is the fact that the previous record of who spoke the longest was the racist pig fucker from South Carolina, Strom Thurmond, who, among other things, when he was a young sprout, a young little racist bastard, raped his family's housemaid and impregnated her, and a baby was born that this racist son of a bitch Strom never acknowledged. And the woman, I think she passed a few years ago. But he was such a slimy bastard, Strom Thurmond. Every time I go to visit family in Charleston, and I have to go down a road, actually, I think it's Interstate 20, that is named in South Carolina Strom Thurmond Memorial Highway. And I just wonder why that sign isn't riddled with bullets, which is what a lot of people do in South Carolina. If you drive the back roads of South Carolina or Georgia, there are very few road signs or information signs that are not riddled with bullet holes. There's something about the rednecks down here that, let me get out in the country with my Glock. I'm going to show you something. See that speed limit 45? Watch this. And then the sign kind of shreds. But anyway, Cory Booker kicked Strom Thurmond into the dustbin of history, which is where the son of a bitch, the Dixiecrat party, where he belonged. Marathon speech lasted all night into Tuesday night. It was an historic mark to demonstrate, using a very theatrical way of doing it, which I think is great, like I said. Because, Cory Booker was not giving an official, what do they call it? Jesus Christ, not another brain fart. He wasn't giving a speech to delay the passage of any particular law. Filibuster, thank you. That's what Thurmond did back in 1957. He was filibustering the Civil Rights Act. And I think the what's the word I want to use now? Theatrics. But the irony, that's the word, the irony present in Cory Booker standing there for 25, 26 hours, demolishing this racist son of a bitch Strom Thurmond's so-called record. Yeah, well, I spoke longer than anybody. No, sir, you didn't. Not anymore. Now get the fuck back into hell where you belong, So for the theater of it, I was very pleased. Plus, some of the things that Cory Booker said were just astonishingly good. And the few times I checked in to see how he was doing, I never heard any fatigue. I didn't hear any slurring of words. I didn't hear him word groping the way you hear me do constantly on this podcast. Cory Booker flowed. He was there. He was in the groove. He found that space, and goddamn did he do quite well in it. He took to the floor on Monday evening, and he said he was going to remain there as long as he was, he called it, as long as he was physically able. Those were his words. And 25 hours and 6 or 7 minutes later, he finished speaking and limped off the floor. Now, he was physically able to do this. He's 55 years old, Booker is, but he's a former football tight end. He's in good shape. And he set the record for the longest continuous Senate floor speech in U.S. Senate history. Now, one of the things that I think it was extremely noticeable about this and should be marked for what it is. It was a remarkable show of stamina. And it transcended just Cory Booker. I think the point was to Americans who are sick of the Democratic Party. Yeah, I've got my hand up. Yeah, I'm right there. But to those of us who are sick of the Democrats and their mealy-mouthed, fucking limp-wristed approach to the kind of terror that Donald Toilet Rat Trump has unleashed on this country, it was good to see somebody stand up, even if it was theater, to stand up and say, no, fuck you. We're the Democratic Party. We can do stuff like this. You little dunderheads who do exactly what Trump tells you, no, you can't do it. Because you're little slime balls who just bounce around doing what your Lord and Master tells you to do. So Booker also provided that moment of, Associated Press calls it historical solace for a party searching for its way forward. Well, what comes next? You know, when this began, I had rather Cory Booker's speech or his record-setting talk. I didn't mention it, not really, on the podcast because I just had kind of a cynical reaction to it at first, like, oh, what the fuck? You know, giving an endless speech, what's that going to do about destroying a woman's right to sovereignty? What's it going to do about defunding schools and university? What's it going to do to stop this criminal fucking Trump administration from arresting people, no charges, no due process, and sending them to a torture prison in El Salvador? Well, it's not going to do anything. But once I got past that, then I could, that kind of attitude, then I could see, God damn it, it's symbolism, but it's important symbolism. It's theatrics, but it's important theatrics. And like a lot of people, the more I listened to Cory Booker and realized the power behind the words, his dedication to the Constitution, to this republic, like a lot of people, yep, I started thinking about Cory Booker for president. If you listened to more than a little bit of his speech and didn't have the same thought, I would be surprised. I really would. And he said something, he said something openly on the Senate floor, of his roots, his family roots as a descendant from both slaves and slave owners, which is true with so many people of color in this country. Booker said this, quote, "I'm here despite Strom Thurmond's speech. I'm here because as powerful as he was, the people are more powerful." End quote. Which, yeah, at this time when Trump and his monsters around him, when they are promoting, encouraging, establishing really filthy fucking racist bullshit once again, it was powerful. It was good to hear Cory Booker say, as powerful as this bitch Strom Thurmond was, the people are more powerful. True. And then House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, who is the first black party leader in Congress ever, he was in the Senate chamber a couple of times to watch and listen to Booker yesterday afternoon. And Hakeem Jeffries called it, quote, "an incredibly powerful moment," end quote, because Booker had broken the record of a segregationist prick and was, quote, "fighting to preserve the American way of life and our democracy," end quote. Even so, Booker centered his speech on the very theme of his speech. And it took me a while to get this, okay? But I eventually got it. But the theme was a call on the Democratic Party to find its goddamn spine, to find resolve, when he said, quote, "we all must look in the mirror and say, we will do better," end quote. Come on, Democrats. What in the actual fuck is wrong with the Democratic Party? I mean, seriously. I got the shits of it several years ago, just from the mealy-mouthed bullshit. Now, granted, I understand what the Democratic Party stands for, at least the modern Democratic Party. It hasn't always been this way. I mean, Strom Thurmond was a Democrat until he formed the Dixiecrat Party in what, 1954 or some such shit? I think it was the same year that President Truman did away with segregation in the armed forces, and old Strom Thurmond lost his shit over that one. What? What are you talking about? I digress. Anyway, Booker said as he began the speech Monday night, he said, quote, "These are not normal times in our nation, and they should not be treated as such in the United States Senate. The threats to the American people and American democracy are grave and urgent, and we all must do more to stand against them." Hallelujah to that. And I mean, just to hear a Democrat senator, make an obvious statement, it almost feels revolutionary, doesn't it? Well, I mean, yeah, well, no qualifier. It does. It just sounds almost revolutionary. And some of the things that Booker talked about, he went on for hours against cuts to Social Security. He listed what the impacts have been so far by the toilet rat's early orders, his executive orders, and Booker addressed concerns that broader cuts to the social safety net that are coming and what the result of those cuts are going to be. And of course, some of these chicken shit Republican lying bastards, I don't know why I call them Republicans, the Christian fascists, they keep lying through their goddamn nasals and saying Social Security won't be cut. Their nasal holes, you know what I meant. Booker also read what he said were letters from constituents. One writer was alarmed by the toilet rats talk of annexing Greenland and Canada. Jesus Christ. Well, the reason the toilet rat does that, those are just diversionary tools that the toilet rat loves to use. While everybody is going, he's going to annex Greenland? He's going to take Canada? Oh, my God. Let's pull our hair out. Let's run around like, oh, my God, oh, my God. Well, most people in media are doing that. Trump is busy putting in place his fascist agenda. He does it quietly, except when he has a big show like he did the first week he was in office, signing executive order after executive order showing his chicken scratching signature with a goddamn pen. What is it that he uses? That huge black pen. What do you call those things? Well, hell, I've got one right here. It's called a magic marker. What else? Oh, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer asked Booker if he could ask a question last night. And I think I heard this one. And it was the first time Booker said, it'd be the first time he said no to the Democratic leader. And Booker continued, but Schumer asked a question or made the statement. He said, quote, "Your strength, your fortitude, your clarity has just been nothing short of amazing, and all of America is paying attention to what you're saying. All of America needs to know there's so many problems, the disastrous actions of this administration," end quote. Well, there's nothing not true in what Schumer said, but it raises the question for me almost immediately. What the fuck are you doing about it, Schumer? You're the one who collapsed in a pool of chicken shit and agreed with the few members of the Democratic Party you could hijack into going along with this continuing resolution to keep the government open. History will tell you, and I don't know why Schumer didn't realize this, anytime, and this happened a number of times, that the government closes down because of bullshit action by members of the Senate, or I'm sorry, by members of the Congress. Anytime that happens, the president is blamed, not Congress, no matter how much the Christian fascists wanted to try to pin a possible shutdown on Democrats. It's not the way the American people perceive it. But Schumer, I don't know what he was about. I have no idea. He's one of the dinosaurs who just ought to get the fuck out. I mean, Chuck, come on. You've done a lot, some of it good, some of it not so good, some of it really fucking bad for the American people. But your time is up, dude. Don't wait for a goddamn meteor to hit the planet and all of a sudden all of you old dinosaurs disappear. Just retire. Go away. Enjoy being the former whatever you want to call yourself. Jesus Christ. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.